Come along with Barbie and I as we go on our first ever cruise. I will say that technically my mom said that I've been on a cruise as a baby, but she also said that I was on a leash, so I feel like that doesn't count. Nevertheless, I was extremely excited to go on this new and different adventure with Barbie. Though a cruise is a different kind of adventure than through hiking a long trail, it was an adventure all the same, and we couldn't wait to have it together. We've landed! We landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida around 9 a.m. and we weren't scheduled to get on the boat until around 1:30, so we had some time to kill. We had luckily found this adorable coffee shop where we could also leave our bags for the day, and once we had less things to carry, we went wandering. Instead of hiker trash, we are cruise trash today. Still walking around with the backpacks. Just different ones. I think my body still isn't used to being off the trail, so we did have to go make a pit stop at the Publix so that I could get some sinus infection things. And then, it was a 2-mile walk to the beach, so as former thru hikers, we got to walking, and we enjoyed this view of our cruise boat on the way. It was a very warm walk, but it was so exciting to reach the ocean and to still get there by the power of our own 2 feet and walking there. It was a really, really beautiful day to be on the beach. It wasn't too long before we went exploring for food, and we found this open-air restaurant called Beau's Beach and enjoyed some delicious pizza while enjoying watching the palm trees and the ocean in the distance. Before too long, it was time to go pick up our bags, and we didn't want to walk back, so we caught the bus. It was only like a few dollars, and public transportation is amazing. On our way back to our bags, I found this adorable boba shop that I wanted to try, and I did not like it, but that's okay. Back at the coffee shop, which is called Fresh and Grind, and they use a program called Bounce to store our bags, I grabbed a little juice, and then we grabbed our bags and called an Uber to get us to the ship. We are so excited, and we cannot wait for this short little mini adventure. And because I have failed to mention it until now, we are going on a 4-day, 3-night cruise with Royal Caribbean on the Liberty of the Seas. We are going to Perfect Day at CocoCay, and then we are going to the Nassau, Bahamas. Because we got on the ship so late, our room was already ready, and here is a little tour of everything. The room was small, but it was bigger than the one-person tent we shared on the Appalachian Trail. It was an inner room, so we didn't have a view of the ocean or anything like that, but we did have a window that overlooked the main walkway, and I thought that was really cool to see the inner workings of the ship. We're super excited for our first cruise! This was the welcome parade before we sailed away. Our first night on the cruise, we went and dined in one of the main dining rooms, and it was really interesting to see that they laid out the dinner as if you were dining at a fancy restaurant. So you had a first course, a main entree, and then a dessert. And as somebody who loves to eat, the food was just okay. But the ballroom that we were dining in was absolutely stunning. It looked like something out of a castle. And then before we knew it, it was time to go to bed. The next morning, we once again had breakfast in one of the main dining rooms because I was just hoping that it was gonna magically be better, and it was still just okay. But, all the food, it was included unless you were going to a specialty spot, so I can't really complain too much. It is cruise food after all. We had gotten up early, so we were exploring the ship.
No matcha for me, but at least they had chai. But it's sad that they don't have matcha.
That first morning, I tried out their little Starbucks-esque coffee shop, and I was hoping for a matcha, but they just had chai, and it was only okay. And then we took it along with us, and we started exploring the cruise boat a little bit more. The day before, we had actually gone on the 2 water slides because the lines were shorter, but this morning, we were just seeing all there is to see and enjoy. Our first full day on the ship was a day at sea, and we decided to spend it lounging about. Barbie found us some really nice deck chairs overlooking the water, and we spent most of our morning sitting here reading and just enjoying one another's company and the fact that we were on a cruise boat on our way to the Bahamas. After a morning of enjoying the pool deck, we went back to our room to find this sweet little surprise.
Oh, look at the cute little penguin towel. This is so cute.
Of all the food we had on board, Barbie probably loved Sorrento's the most. He loved that he could just go and get pizza whenever he wanted, and the decor in here was cute. It was just like a pizza shop. Although we loved sitting on the pool deck, we thought it would be fun to take some of the classes. So Barbie and I saw that there was a dance class, and we went and joined. We learned dances from my middle school days, like the Cupid Shuffle and the Electric Slide and the Cha-Cha Slide. Well, I couldn't have the Cha-Cha Slide audio in this section of video, but just imagine the Cha-Cha Slide going on in the background of this. And everybody clap your hands. It was fun to throw it back to middle school and relearn these dances. After dancing the afternoon away, we headed to one of the lower decks and just wandered. This was honestly one of my favorite little moments of our cruise vacation because these lower levels were not crowded at all, and it was so peaceful just to walk along and to look at the water. Towards the back of the ship, there was a spot where you could just look over the railing, safely of course, and the way that you could just see the water off the back of the boat, it was mesmerizing and hypnotizing, and we probably stood here for way too long, but it was absolutely beautiful to take in. We had dinner reservations that night at one of the fancier onboard restaurants, but before that, we were just doing a little bit of exploring to the different little bars around the ship. This one, I can't remember which one this was, but we were really excited to see that there was live music playing, and so we sat and enjoyed it for a while. I think that the entire time we were on the boat, I never got over how cool it was to just look out the window and see the ocean. The music ended and we had a little bit more time to kill before dinner, and so we went to do Disney trivia because I am a huge Disney adult, and I almost won. But then it was time for our dinner reservation at Sabre, and we were so excited to try this taqueria and tequila bar. We did have to pay extra for this dining experience, but since it was our first cruise, we thought it would be special to go enjoy something like this. The meal had 3 courses. We had an appetizer, an entree, and then dessert. And even before all that, we got to enjoy fresh guacamole, salsa, and chips, of course. I am allergic to avocados, so I couldn't enjoy the guacamole, but the salsa was delicious. This was our appetizer. It was some kind of cheesy deliciousness thing, and yeah, it was so good. This appetizer was some kind of queso dip, and it was honestly my favorite part. For the entree, I got tacos, and they were just okay. For the dessert, because we had told him that I loved dessert, they actually brought us out one of each to try, and they were all really, really amazing. After dinner, we headed to the aerial show, and this is one of the things I really liked about being on the cruise, is that there were so many different things that we could do. We were really excited to see this first show on this night, and even though you weren't really supposed to take video, I did take a quick clip.
Hey there, it is the end of day 2 on Barbie and I's first Royal Caribbean cruise, and so far we are having a really great time. We got into Fort Lauderdale yesterday and also got on the ship, and we spent a lot of time exploring. We went on all the slides at the pool, and today has been a day at sea, and we spent a lot of time at the pool and eating good food and just enjoying everything. We went to see a show tonight called In the Air, and that was phenomenal, probably one of my favorite parts of the day. And overall, we've just spent today relaxing, and it's been really cool to experience a cruise for the first time as an adult. I've been on one as a kid, but my mom said I was in a leash, so I was too young to remember. But we've had a really good time, and tomorrow we go to Perfect Day at CocoCay, and we are going to the Thrill Water Park, so I am super excited for that. But yeah, we've had a really good time so far, and I'm feeling a little bit worn down, so we are going to bed a little bit early tonight. But yeah, we had a really good time.
The next morning, we got up bright and early because we wanted to be some of the first people off the ship to go to Royal Caribbean's private island, Perfect Day at CocoCay.
It's day 3 and we're headed to Perfect Day at CocoCay.
This was the crowd of people even early trying to get off the ship to go to CocoCay. When we got off the ship and we were walking towards Perfect Day at CocoCay, there was another Royal Caribbean ship there, and it felt really crowded getting off the ship, but honestly, once we were actually in the park, it actually didn't feel that bad at all, and we felt pretty good about the crowd situation. It was a bit windy to start out the day, but otherwise the weather seemed like it was going to be absolutely perfect for our adventure to Perfect Day at CocoCay. I was absolutely excited. I love water slides and I could not wait to go to the Thrill Water Park. So even though we started our day at Thrill Water Park so that I could get all the water slides done, I don't have any video of it quite yet. You'll have some a little bit later because I wanted to enjoy the first ride phoneless.
The time is 9:47 a.m. and I have officially done all the water slides at Thrill Water Park already. Barbie has done some of them.
All of them.
No.
Only the scariest ones.
No, I did all the scariest ones. They were very fun, and I'm gonna go back and do some more later. But now we're exploring.
So after I achieved my goal of riding all of the water slides in the water park, we went exploring.
Back on the trail.
This is a sandy one.
There were so many different beaches at CocoCay, and since this was our first time there, we really just wanted to experience them all and see what everything was about. It was absolutely stunning to see the crystal clear blue waters at all of the different beaches. South Beach was crowded. It had the little cabanas in the water, but we really liked it because a little ways down it had a hammock that we spent a lot of time at. But as Barbie and I are first and foremost hikers, we of course found the nature trail on the island.
Hikers, you know, you've got to find the trail. Barbie and I found the trail on CocoCay.
When we were on the beach, we found a friend. This chicken is obviously very, very smart because he picked a beautiful beach to live on. Remember that hammock I was telling you about on South Beach? This is it. And it was honestly like one of my favorite moments of the day because we just got to lay there and relax and enjoy the breeze and watch the palm trees.
We are at CocoCay, I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, we're having a really good time. We did the Thrill Water Park this morning, and now we are exploring all the beaches. Though we got a little waylaid because we found a hammock. And then we'll probably go back to Thrill Water Park again this afternoon because I love water slides and they were really good ones. There's not like too many, but the ones that they have are pretty good. So yeah, there's one that like you like have like a thing underneath your feet and then it just goes away and it drops you. It's terrifying. My heart just stopped. But yeah, it was really fun and I'll probably go do it one more time this afternoon before we get back on the ship. It's been a good day. It's only like 10:48 and it's been a really good day so far.
After checking out South Beach, we made our way to the Oasis Lagoon, which is one of the pools on CocoCay. And gosh, I'm not really a pool person, but it was absolutely beautiful. And it's not that I don't like pools. I was just a competitive swimmer in my youth, and so I always feel like I need to be swimming laps when visiting a pool. But this one made me want to just sit by and relax. There was also a little free library, and although it didn't have many things in it, it was super cute. As we continued with our wanderings, we made our way to the little market where there were all kinds of little booths and stands with wares. I was hoping for more authentic things at these stands, but I was happy that I was able to find a few vendors that had some postcards so that I could send out some snail mail to my family. The food on CocoCay was like buffet style, and honestly, I thought it was better than the food on the ship, and we got this beautiful view to go along with it.
Apparently the hack at Skipper's is to get the ice cream and put it in between cookies.
Okay, so I heard that the ice cream cookie hack was a thing, and I'm not gonna lie, the ice cream was a letdown. The brownie was a lot better. Once we had our fill of snacks, we headed back to the Oasis Lagoon to just chill in the pool for a little bit. We honestly didn't make it long at the pool again before we headed back to South Beach to enjoy these little floaty city things out in the ocean. It was another favorite part of my day. A lot of blogs and things said that this was one of the least crowded beaches, and I have to disagree. I think that it has turned into one of the more popular ones because of the little floating bar at the back. But even though there were crowds, it was still a really fun time to just sit and swim around and enjoy the beach. And after spending a little bit of time in the ocean, we then headed back to the Thrill Water Park. Another fun animal sighting at the Thrill Water Park was this cute little iguana friend. This first slide is called the Screeching Serpent. It is super steep, and it was the first slide I did at Thrill Water Park, and I had to do it again when we went back. This entire tower of water slides is called Daredevil's Tower, and it has so many different single rider water slides that were all really fun, and some were even a little bit scary, even for me who loves adrenaline rides. After doing the Screeching Serpent again, I climbed all the way up to the top to do Daredevil's Peak for a second time. This was honestly my favorite slide of the day. It wasn't too scary, and it was just super fun because it was so long and there were lights on the inside. If you don't like heights and you don't like steps, this is not a great climb for you. I love how the colors are incorporated into this slide. If you were curious about the ride that I was talking about before, where the floor drops from beneath your feet, it's called the Dueling Demons, and I did not do it again before we left because it was somewhat terrifying. But honestly, all the water slides were super fun, and we had a great time at Perfect Day at CocoCay. Might I say that we pretty much had the perfect day? All right, so was it the perfect day at CocoCay?
Yes.
He just doesn't want to admit it so easily. Goodbye to the island and the water slides, and hello to the boats again. It was time to get back on the ship, but we were very happily tired. And even though we had had lunch a few hours earlier, Barbie had to make a stop at Sorrento's for a snack, and I had my favorite thing that I ate on the cruise ship, which was these matcha cream puffs. So good. That night, we went to our second performance, and it was a show on ice. It was so cool that there was an ice rink and an ice show performance while we were on the ship, and it was really cool to see the performers do these tricks and dances on ice. I don't think very many cruise ships have ice skating rinks, but it was really cool that this one did, and we got to see that kind of show. After the show, it was time to go back for another dinner in the dining room. We had been trying to alternate between dining room meals and buffet meals. The dessert this night was really good. The food was still just okay, and for that reason, I mean, honestly, the buffet food was just as good most days. Pro tip, go for a little evening walk around the ship, especially if it's recently rained for a little bit, because it's super quiet and super peaceful. Here's just a little showing of what walking around the ship deck looked like at night. Most of the evenings they do show movies on this big screen in front of the pools, and you can enjoy it from the pool deck. Our second to last morning on the ship, we were able to catch the sunrise, and it was absolutely stunning. We then ate a somewhat hurried breakfast so that we could go get ready to head to the Nassau, Bahamas and the Atlantis Resort.
It is day 4. It's our last full day on the ship. We're, well, technically off the ship because we're going to Nassau today and we're going to Atlantis. So I get to ride 4 water slides and Barbie gets to do some lazy rivers today so that he does not have to do the heights of all the water slides. So it's gonna be a fun day.
I am not going to lie, the getting departed for this excursion took forever and felt very disorganized, and we felt like it wasted a lot of our time that we could have had getting to Atlantis. Once we got to Atlantis, my jaw dropped. There is nothing that will truly describe the expansiveness of this resort unless you actually walk through it. I mean, from the turtles to the giant structures to the perfectly looking lobby and every little detail in place, it really was a stunning resort. Ever since I was a kid, I remember seeing commercials about the Atlantis Resort on the TV on, the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. And so to be here in real life was somewhat surreal because as a kid, you always dreamed about going here. And yeah, to be here was pretty cool. Although I was super excited to go to the water park again, I also loved seeing all of the sea creatures, from the turtles to the rays. It was so cool to see them all. I actually really, really love aquariums and getting to see these amazing creatures up close. So it was very cool to be here for like a water park day, but to also get to see these amazing creatures.
We're at Atlantis! This is so cool. I think we're gonna have a fun day.
This place was so big, it was kind of hard to not get lost. We spent the first part of our day just exploring and enjoying the views of Atlantis before we decided we were hungry and headed to the Shake Shack, which had this aquarium inside of it. And honestly, I bet it's the coolest Shake Shack that there is. And honestly, the hamburger and the milkshake were absolutely delicious. It was some of the best food that we had on this trip. We did a little bit more wandering after we had lunch just because there was just so much to see at this resort and we wanted to know where everything was and what it all was. In our wanderings, we found another cozy hammock to lay in for a little bit. And then it was finally time for the water slides. I only got video of this one, but this is the most iconic one that you see on all the commercials. And it was really cool to do it, though I will say you can't actually see through that tube. You are going so fast, you don't see any sea creatures, and that's kind of disappointing, but the ride itself was really cool. They also have another water slide that you do a slower tube through the little tube where you can see sea creatures, and the outside of it was so dirty that you actually couldn't see the sea creatures, which that was also a little bit disappointing. Honestly, I really loved the water park overall and was glad I got to experience it, but I thought that the water slides, if you're there for an adrenaline rush, the water slides at CocoCay were better. I did, however, love that at Atlantis you could just wander around and get this aquarium type feel in all kinds of different places. This walk-through aquarium tunnel was one of my favorite moments. I have always loved rays, and I loved seeing these little cow-nosed rays swim through the water. Before we headed back to the ship, I wanted to check out one more little spot. There was a little shopping area that was connected to Atlantis, and I just wanted to see what it was all about while we were there and explore. The only spot we ended up stopping in was the Dilly Club, which was a cute little cafe and coffee shop, and I was hoping to grab a matcha here, but they happened to be out of matcha that day, which was really sad, but it was a really cute spot, and I hope if we ever come back, I get to enjoy it some more. And then we were wandering back through the little stalls before we boarded the ship, and that was the end of our day at Atlantis and Nassau, Bahamas.
Headed back to get on the boat. Come on a boat.
Our last excursion of the trip was over, and tomorrow we would be headed back to Florida. It was a great last excursion of the trip. This is just a little show of what the buffet had. We usually tried to try a lot of different things. And for our last night on the ship, there was a performance of Saturday Night Fever. I have actually never seen the movie, so I was super excited to see this performance. Having never seen the movie, we were a little confused with what was happening, but we were also really enjoying it. These two performers were also in the air show, and they were absolutely phenomenal. Their dancing skills were like nothing else I've ever seen, and if I wasn't marked for copyright for the music, I would have loved for you to see it with the music. Our final show on the ship was amazing, and the next morning we grabbed a quick and early breakfast before getting our stuff together and heading off the ship.
Making our way down to disembark. It's been a fun trip, but it's time to go back to land.
For disembarkation, you can either put tags on your stuff and they can take it off for you, or you can just disembark yourself with your stuff. We opted to take our own stuff because we felt like it was quicker and we could leave earlier, and we did just that. And then we waved goodbye to the ship and to vacation and headed back towards reality. Well, not quite yet. When we got back to Fort Lauderdale, our plane didn't leave until that evening, so we once again dropped our bags off at that cute coffee shop with the bounce service, and we headed towards the beach.
Well, we are officially off the cruise boat. We have dropped off our luggage at our little coffee shop, and now we took the public transportation, the bus, and we are at the beach. So we're gonna wander for the day until we have to go catch our flight back to North Carolina tonight. Look how beautiful.
I don't know what kind of phenomenon was going on, but there were all kinds of jellyfish washed up on the beach, and although they were beautiful, it was really, really sad to see them all washed up and hanging out on the beach. And because my alter ego is treats, we of course had to go find some little local spots, and we found this bakery that I'd heard was delicious, where I finally got to enjoy a matcha and this delicious croissant. Barbie did not want any pastries, he just wanted Taco Bell. So we found the local Taco Bell, and honestly, the view from this Taco Bell was absolutely stunning, and I would go here anytime just to see this view again. We really just wanted to spend some time that day sitting on the beach, so we had found the local CVS and gotten some little beach mats for like $5, and we sat on the beach and read books. After reading for a few hours, the beach was getting pretty busy, so we went to find lunch at a local spot, and it was pretty good, but we figured out that it was getting so busy because it was spring break time, and all the spring breakers were coming down to Fort Lauderdale, so it was time to get out of town. But before we left, I had one more stop to make. It was this amazing little bookstore that I had seen on social media, of course, but I absolutely love bookstores, and this one just looked so cool, and I loved how it was all packed into this tiny little space. Reading again, this time at the airport, waiting to head home. It's always a little bit bittersweet to be getting back on the plane after an adventure. And then, just like that, our first cruise adventure is over. I can't wait for the next one.